Genesis chapter 2. And the heavens and the earth shall be completed, and all their army. And God will complete in the seventh day his work which he made, and he will rest in the seventh day from all his work which he made. And God will praise the seventh day, and will consecrate it, because in it he ceased from all his works which God formed to make. These the generations of the heavens and the earth in creating them, in the day of Jehovah God's making the earth and the heavens. And every green thing of the field before it shall be in the earth, and every green herb of the field before it will spring up. For Jehovah God reigned not upon the earth, and not a man to work the earth. And a vapor shall go up from the earth, and it watered all the face of the earth. And Jehovah God will form man from the dust from the earth, and will blow into his nostrils the breath of lives, and man shall be for a living soul. And Jehovah God will plant a garden in Eden from the east, and he will put there the man which he will form. And Jehovah God will cause to grow out of the earth every tree pleasant to the sight and good for food, and the tree of lives in the midst of the garden, and the tree to know good and evil. And a river shall go out from Eden to water the garden, and from thence it shall be separated into 4 heads. The name of the one Pison, it is that surrounding all the land Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There bdellium and onyx stone. And the name of the second river Gihon, that surrounding all of the land of Cush. And the name of the third river Hiddekel, that going forth east of Assyria, and the fourth river Euphrates. And Jehovah God will take the man, and will set him down in the garden to work it and to keep it. And Jehovah God will appoint the man, saying, From every tree of the garden eating thou shalt eat, but from the tree to know good and evil thou shalt not eat from it, for in the day of thy eating from it, dying thou shalt die. And Jehovah God will say, It is not good for man to be alone. I will make for him a help as before him. And Jehovah God will form out of the earth every living thing of the field, and all the birds of the heavens, and he will bring into the man to see what he will call to it, and all which the man will call it to the living soul, that its name. And the man will call the names to all the cattle, and to the birds of the heavens, and to every living thing of the field, but to the man was not found a help as before him. And Jehovah God will cause to fall a deep sleep upon the man, and he will sleep, and he will take one of his ribs, and close up the flesh underneath it. And Jehovah God will build the rib he took from the man into a woman, and will bring her to the man. And the man will say, This is now bone of my bone, and flesh of my flesh, and this shall be called woman, because she was taken from man. Therefore a man will leave his father and his mother, and will cleave to his woman, and they shall be into one flesh. And they two shall be naked, the man and his woman, and they shall not be ashamed. Genesis chapter 3. And the serpent was crafty above every beast of the field which Jehovah God made. And he will say to the woman, Is it because God said, Ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman will say to the serpent, From the fruit of the garden, from the fruit of the tree of the garden we shall eat. And from the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, God said, Ye shall not eat from it, and ye shall not touch upon it, lest ye shall die. And the serpent will say to the woman, Dying ye shall not die. For God is knowing in the day of your eating from it, and your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as God, knowing good and evil. And the woman will see that the tree is good for food, and that it is a desire to the eyes, and a tree desired to make wise. And she will take from its fruit, and will eat, and will give also to her man with her, and he will eat. And the eyes of the two shall be opened, and they shall know that they are naked. And they shall sew together the leaves of the fig tree, and shall make to themselves girdles. And they shall hear the voice of Jehovah God walking in the garden at the breeze of the day. And Adam and his wife will hide from the face of Jehovah God in the midst of the wood of the garden. And Jehovah God will call to the man, and will say to him, Where art thou? And he will say, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I shall be afraid because I am naked, and I will hide myself. And he will say, Who showed to thee that thou art naked? Of the tree which I charged thee not to eat, didst thou eat from it? And the man will say, The woman which thou gavest with me, she gave me to eat from the tree, and I shall eat. And Jehovah God will say to the woman, What is this thou didst? And the woman will say, The serpent deceived me, and I shall eat. And Jehovah God will say to the serpent, Because thou did this, cursed art thou above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust thou shalt eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and between the woman, and between thy seed and between her seed. It shall lie in wait for thee as to the head, and thou shalt lie in wait for him as to the heel. And to the woman he said, Multiplying, I will multiply thy pain and thy conception. In pain thou shalt bring forth children, and to thy husband thy desire, and he shall rule over thee. And to Adam he said, Because thou didst listen to the voice of thy wife, and thou wilt eat from the tree which I commanded thee, saying, Thou shalt not eat from it, cursed the earth for thy sake. In labor shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life, and thorns and weeds shall it cause to sprout forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the green herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face thou shalt eat food until thy turning back to the earth, for out of it thou wert taken, for dust thou art, and to dust shalt thou turn back. And Adam will call his wife's name Life, for she was the mother of all living. And Jehovah God will make to Adam and to his wife coats of skin, and will clothe them. And Jehovah God will say, Lo, Adam became as one from us, to know good and evil. And now lest he shall send forth his hand, and take also of the tree of lives, and eat, and to live to eternity. And Jehovah God will send him forth from the Garden of Eden to work the earth, which he was taken from there. And he will drive out Adam, and he will set up from the east of the Garden of Eden cherubims, and a flaming sword, turning itself about, to keep the way of the tree of lives. Genesis chapter 4. And Adam knew Life, his wife, and she will conceive and bear Cain, and said, I obtained a man of Jehovah. And she will add to bear his brother Abel, and Abel shall be a feeder of sheep, and Cain was a laborer of the earth. And it shall be at the end of days, and Cain shall bring in from the fruit of the earth and an offering to Jehovah. And Abel, he also brought in the firstborn of his sheep and their fat. And Jehovah will look to Abel and to his gift. And to Cain and to his offering he looked not. And Cain will be very angry, and his countenance will fall. And Jehovah will say to Cain, Why art thou angry, and why does thy countenance fall? If thou shalt do well, thou shalt be lifted up, and if thou shalt not do well, sin lies at the entrance, and to thee his desire, and thou shalt rule over him. And Cain will speak to Abel his brother, and it shall be in their being in the field, Cain will rise up against Abel his brother, and will kill him. And Jehovah will say to Cain, Where is Abel thy brother? And he will say, I know not. Am I my brother's watcher? And he will say, What didst thou? The voice of thy brother's bloods crying out to me from the earth. And now cursed art thou from the earth, which opened her mouth to take thy brother's bloods from thy hand. When thou shalt work the earth, she shall not add to give her strength to thee. Wandering and fleeing shalt thou be in the earth. And Cain will say to Jehovah, My sin is great, above bearing. Lo, thou didst drive me out this day from above the face of the earth, and from thy face shall I be hid, and I shall be wandering and fleeing in the earth. And it shall be, every one finding me will kill me. And Jehovah will say to him, Therefore every one killing Cain, he shall be avenged sevenfold. And Jehovah will put a sign upon Cain, lest any finding him smite him. And Cain went out from the face of Jehovah, and dwelt in the land of Nod, eastward of Eden. And Cain will know his wife, and she will conceive and bear Enoch, and he will be building a city, and will call the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And to Enoch shall be born Irad, and Irad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Methusael, and Methusael begat Lamech. And Lamech shall take to him 2 women, the name of the one Ada, and the name of the second Zillah. And Ada will bear Jabal, and he was the father of him remaining in the tent and riches. And his brother's name Jubal, for he was father of all laying hold of the harp and pipe. And Zillah, she also will bear Tubal-Cain, sharpening every cutting instrument of brass and iron. And Tubal-Cain's sister was Naamah. And Lamech will say to his wives Ada and Zillah, Hear my voice, ye wives of Lamech, and give ear to my word, for I killed a man to my wound, and a son to my cutting. If Cain shall be avenged sevenfold, also Lamech 77. And Adam will know his wife again, and she will bear a son, and she will call his name Seth, for God set me a second seed instead of Abel, for Cain slew him. And to Seth, to him also a son shall be born, and he will call his name Enos. Then it was begun to call in the name of Jehovah.